commercial break. But do you like Ty Lue as the next head coach for the Clippers?
Love it, love it. Yes, all for it. You know why?
Why?
There's some parallels that I really need to highlight. You kind of sped through them, and I need to slow you down.
Slow me down, big bro. Slow me down.
I'm not going to go too long on this lap because my enthusiasm will take over. Ty Lue won a championship where? Cleveland.
Absolutely.
Cleveland. Had they won a championship before Ty Lue helped them win that championship?
Absolutely not.
Never in their history. Have the Los Angeles Clippers ever won a championship? No. Ty Lue, I like that. The fact that you found, and don't give me this, he had LeBron.
I said nothing.
Oh,
I said
you know
nothing.
what? I'm going to beat that up, too, because he had LeBron. And you know who else is deemed now a great coach in Eric Spoelstra? Had LeBron for 4 years and won 2 titles with LeBron. But we know that that's a great situation, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. So now you give Ty Lue him, same LeBron, they go to 3 straight finals. And they win one of them. And that one final that they won was an unbelievable, impossible comeback against the 73-win Warriors team. So he's seen the fire and been able to walk through it. But then you look up, and the next year he starts slow, 0-6. Fired. And there his reputation goes in terms of, is he really a good coach or not? But I always want to keep that comp of Eric Spoelstra right there, and the comp of the fact that he was there in Cleveland when they finally got over the hump. Those are the same circumstances we're facing right now. You got a top player, maybe the best player in the game, two-way player certainly, and Kawhi Leonard. And now all you got to do is get this franchise over the hump.
This man.
Look, you hate me because my hindsight is 20/20. Oh, excuse me, I had LASIK. It's 25. I have eagle vision. Not only can I see what you can't see, but I can look back as clear as you can. Look back at the comps. This is the perfect guy for this situation.
Just because you're bald does not make you a bald eagle, Marcelo. Look, here is why I'm a skeptic of this hire.
Oh, don't do it.
We have no reason to like it. We have no reason to like
Championship coach?
Great. Think about this. Let's start there. Let's start there with the championship coach. There is a LeBron James effect, which we know. Wherever LeBron goes, his team wins, which means it has nothing to do, they do.
Win what?
Level of win is up for debate, but they win.
Oh,
right?
win regular season.
Correct. Whatever. Level of win is up for debate. LeBron goes to the Cavs with Mike Brown early on in his career. Think about Mike Brown's winning percentage. Mike Brown's winning percentage with LeBron James, 66%. Mike Brown outside of LeBron James, 49%. Okay, you talked about Eric Spoelstra, who we now deem as a great coach. I'm glad you brought that up. Prior to this season, Eric Spoelstra had 5 seasons without LeBron James after LeBron left. 1 playoff series win. The 4 seasons with LeBron James before that, 14 playoff series wins. Before LeBron James got to Miami, Spoelstra was still there. Hadn't been to the playoffs in 2 years. So, yes, we now acclaim Eric Spoelstra as a great coach. But without LeBron James, Eric Spoelstra, 1 playoff win in 5 years. Okay, let's talk.
You're not this year?
Oh, I'm saying prior to the season. Even with this season, you can give me 3. Eric Spoelstra.
Just add them up.
Great. Eric Spoelstra.
Okay.
4 playoff series wins in 6 years without LeBron.
Better than 1.
It does. Now let's talk Ty Lue.
Oh, don't do that.
Ty Lue. Yes, he won the chip in 2016 with LeBron, but here's my question, Marcellus. If Kyrie and K-Love don't get hurt in 15, Ty Lue's probably never a head coach. David Platt got fired in the middle of 2016, and they were 30-11. Ty Lue takes over, and they go 27-14. So, really, Ty Lue had a worse record than David Platt did.
Don't do that.
He did.
He did.
But they won the...
You know you're wrong.
No, I'm not, because here's why I'm not.
What happened after that?
If K-Love and Kyrie don't get hurt, we literally have the evidence to say they would have won. Because when Kyrie and K-Love were hurt, the next year, they did win.
Yeah, but the standards are absurd when it comes to Ty Lue in terms of the next 2 years after that, 50-plus wins. And then 0-6, you got to go.
Got to go.
And, I mean, if the standard is win it all or not, then no coach is really going to be held up to that standard and succeed. But if it's just to change the culture, and this team is built to win right now.
Yep.
And Ty Lue has been in a position before with the gun to his head to win right then, and he did it. So I think that's the only guy you can.
Here's my issue. I'm a skeptic of, Marcellus, coaches who have optimal success when they have the GOAT, for example.
Oh, like Phil Jackson?
No, because Phil Jackson...
He always had a GOAT.
Yes, but Phil Jackson had a GOAT before we knew he was a GOAT. Remember, Phil Jackson and when Kobe, early on in Kobe's career. Now, but let me talk about this.
You don't want to count Jordan?
No, but Jordan started winning titles when Phil Jackson arrived.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No.
Like, LeBron James had won titles before Ty Lue got there.
Okay.
Like, you see, like, LeBron was winning.
That's kind of making my point.
Here's a question I have for you, because now more of a conversation than a debate. Do you not have the fear of, was he actually a good coach, or did LeBron make him a good coach? I'm linking football parallel. Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. We know that. But without Aaron Rodgers, even in Dallas, Mike McCarthy hasn't looked like the guy. When Aaron Rodgers was hurt, even in Green Bay, Mike McCarthy didn't look like the guy. So maybe Aaron Rodgers made Mike McCarthy. That's my question with maybe LeBron made Ty Lue.
As soon as I entertain that thought, I always get down that slippery slope and I reverse
Which is what?
Because I start thinking of Phil Jackson. How many did you win without the greats? I start thinking Bill Belichick. How many you won without Brady? Like, I just don't go down there because I can never have an answer that suffices.
Wouldn't you say, though, that, and this is off topic, but I think this is actually interesting. Wouldn't you say that Phil Jackson made the greats, as opposed to LeBron James is making the coaches?
Yeah. It's certainly a conversation that I entertain, and then I push back on that same conversation because I look at the field. So now where are you talking about? A Jeff Van Gundy in that situation? He's returning, it looks like, back to Houston, where he was fired from Houston. So in terms of options, I don't know where you can go outside of a Ty Lue who has at least been in this situation before and succeeded with a top player. We're bringing in right now our guy Slick Rick the Bucher. So Slick Rick, what name is that? You like the Clippers hiring Ty Lue as their head coach?
I do like it, largely because Jerry West likes it. And he is an advisor to the Clippers. And while his draft record isn't exactly pristine, his ability to tag the appropriate management and coaching choices is. Keep in mind, he played this exact same role with the Golden State Warriors and advised them that Bob Myers should be the GM and Steve Kerr should be the head coach. He had a big part in seeing that happen, and we know how that turned out. He also tabbed David Griffin at one point, and while it wasn't for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he wanted him very much in Memphis, and we've seen what David Griffin did. David Griffin happened to preside over that championship in Cleveland as well as the GM. So what I appreciate about this is, as you mentioned, Marcellus, Jeff Van Gundy was in the mix, and that was the guy that Steve Ballmer was looking at. And he gave in to his basketball people. He gave in to the guy who has done this, and that's what I like about it. We don't know, because there is the question. Ty Lue was right there next to Doc Rivers when we had the meltdown this year. So why didn't he influence things this time around? That was the question in Steve Ballmer's mind, and that's why I believe it took so long for them to come to this decision. But ultimately, as you also noted, Marcellus, it's a matter of what your options are. And you've got to be able to convince Kawhi Leonard, who already has a ring, and Paul George that this is a guy that can show them how to get there. And among all the guys in the field, Greg Popovich isn't moving and rejoining with Kawhi in L.A. Bill Jackson's not coming out of retirement.